Jai Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtapurusha Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Shri Shri Srinathji Ki Jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to Asambhava. All glories to Asambhava. All glories to Asambhava. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Guru. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachamini Nirvishesha Hare Krishna. From any particular verse? Any verse from Bhagavad Gita? Do you remember which verse in the last speaker references?
This is a 12 point. That's about those who are attached to the impersonal, related to the deity worship.
Klesha. Okay, I'll speak for next one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, chapter entitled Devotional Service. Tonight we are reading text number 6 and 7. Yeto sarvani karmani.
Yeto sarvani karmani.
Mayi sanyasya matparaha.
Mayi sanyasya matparaha.
Ananyanaiva yogena.
Ananyanaiva yogena.
Mam dhyayanta upasate.
Mam dhyayanta upasate.
Teshamaham samudharta.
Teshamaham samudharta.
Mrityu samsara sagara.
Mrityu samsara sagara.
Bhavamina chirat partha.
Bhavamina chirat partha.
Maya veshita chetasam.
Maya veshita chetasam.
What would mean? Synonyms. Ye, those who. To, but. Sarvani, all. Karmani, activities. Mai, unto me. Sanyasya, giving up. Matparaha, being attached to me. Ananyena, without division. Eva, certainly. Yogena, by practice of such bhakti yoga. Mam, upon me. Dhyantaha, meditating.
meditating.
Upasate,
Upasate,
worship.
worship.
Tesham, of them. Aham, I. Samudharta, the deliverer. Mrityu, of death. Samsara, in material existence. Sagara, from the ocean. Bhavami, I become. Na, not. Chirat, after a long time. Partha, O son of Pritha. Mai, upon me. Aveshitaha, fixed. Chetasam, of those whose mind. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. This is a problem. Translation. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Purport. It is explicitly stated here that the devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if He does not, then He will render service to Maya. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve Him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. That is the standard of devotional service. The devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee to the personality of God. The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay He will deliver a pure devotee thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process. And others take the opportunity in various ways, but as far as the devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated here that the Lord Himself takes him. the devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. In the Varaha Purana, this verse appears, Nayami paramam sthanam achirat adi gatim vina Garuda skandhyam arabhya jacheyam anivarita. The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord Himself. He clearly states here that He Himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by the yoga practice to the other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by His great mercy, comes at once riding on his bird carrier Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from the material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. In the Narayaniya, this is confirmed as follows. Ja vai sadhana sampattihi purushartha chatushtaye taya vina tad apnoti narayana shraya. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in the different processes of fruitive activity or cultivate knowledge by the mental speculative process. One who is devoted to the Supreme Personality can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculations, rituals, sacrifices, charities, etc. That is the specific benediction of devotional service. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
A devotee of Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily. But this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is stated in 18th chapter, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarvapapyebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuja. One should give up all other processes of self-realization and simply execute devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life, because the Supreme Lord fully takes the charge of him. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in the spiritual realization. Let everyone take shelter of Supreme Omnipotent Godhead Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. This is Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Mancha Kalputarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Videvacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananna naiva yogena mam dhayantu upasate teshamaham samudhartya mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya veshita chetasa. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So after listening Krishna's instruction till 11th chapter, and even after observing scrutinizingly the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna started to have doubt, because Krishna is one person or personality who loves indirect approach. In one commentary of Bhagavad Gita, one verse, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Pad is confirming that Lord Krishna says that whatever I like to say, I like to present it Parakshabad, through Parakshabad. Parakshabad means not direct. Make many options in my presentations, that many people can take the advantage of my teachings. Though devotional service is highest among all the yoga systems described in the first 10 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, but after observing the universal form, Arjuna again got confused. Arjuna said, all right, I understand your super personal Godhead, but this universal form is universal. Many personalities, many mood, many kind of relationships are aggregated in one form, universal form. Please tell me, which one is the best way to worship you? Because in 7th chapter, first text, Lord Krishna already confirmed the highest process of yoga system. He says, Maya Vishyamana Partha Yoga Junjan Madashraya. That now, Arjuna, I described you till the 6th chapter different yoga systems and also the yoga system through the eightfold Ashtanga way, through the eightfold of yoga system. But now I tell you that the highest one, which can be performed by fixing your mind unto me and by taking my shelter. So then, when Arjuna presented this question that please tell me, which form of worship is the best? The formless one or your two-armed or four-armed form worship? So Lord Krishna, in answer to that, he is telling these two verses, describing the glory and also the process of devotional service. The processes are Jetu sarvani karmani moi sannyasa paraha, that whatever you do, you dedicate the fruit of that activity, result of that activity unto me. And same time, you constantly think of me. So this is the process of devotional service. And that what Srila Prabhupada always instructing us to follow. Once, after establishment or after installing the Krishna Balaram deity in Sridham Vrindavan, it's late 1975, Srila Prabhupada would often take morning walk in Raman Reddy. And that time, Srila Prabhupada's present quarters was already constructed and Srila Prabhupada was living there. So whenever Srila Prabhupada would enter his quarters, one devotee, upon seeing Srila Prabhupada is entering his quarters, open Srimad Bhagavad Gita and loudly chant the verse. And Srila Prabhupada would look at him and Srila Prabhupada would give him a very good smile. So being inspired by Srila Prabhupada's favorable gesture, the devotee continued to do that. For the second day, Srila Prabhupada again looked at him and gave him a big smile. Third day, again when Srila Prabhupada stepped into his quarters, the devotee, with a loud voice, chanted one verse from Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada at that time stopped by him and he said, "Why you are chanting Bhagavad Gita only? Do something practical. You're only chanting, but do apply it in your life. That will make me happy." So that's the instruction, that we have to be focused on our everyday's practical services. That's very important. Right then, that time, Vrindavan was suffering, going through, not suffering, going through, Vrindavan devotees, they were having a fever of, chanting, reading, and this and that. Srila Prabhupada stopped it. Srila Prabhupada, no. First service, then samadhi. Do your service. And exactly what Lord Krishna is advocating. That Jetu sarvani karmani. Sarvani karmani means karma, means doing something with your sense objects. Knowledge acquiring or working. So you cannot be inert, you cannot be idle. That's not the prescription of Krishna. So that's why we have to scheduleize ourselves such a way, our days such a way, that we are always engaged. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada clearly mentioned that one devotee understands very clearly, either we serve Krishna or we serve Maya. And what is the way, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport, what is the art of serving Krishna and, say Maya, no, be far from me, is that always think of Krishna and do whatever you need to do. Your livelihood, maybe you are going to job, you are driving, you are working, you are doing the deity worship, you are cleaning temple, whatever you do. But even in a deity worship, that thought of Krishna, remembrance of Krishna, that heart of the pure devotional service is that Krishna's remembrance is missing. Then we are doing something else. So that is the most important thing. And this way, Ananda Naiva Yogena Maya Bhayam Vasate. So this way, the devotees, they continuing serving Lord Krishna. And that we have to practice in our personal, that's our individual responsibility. It's not mine, it's not you. Everyone should take the responsibilities. We have to do it. But what happens if we do? Bhavami na chiram partham mrityu samsara sagara. Then Lord Krishna says that I deliver that devotee who is engaging himself or herself in this way, achirat. Achirat means immediately, without any delay. And what does it mean, this material existence, this ocean of material existence? This material existence or ocean of material existence made out of four things. Yes, death, birth, old age, and disease, and many kinds of sufferings. Adibhautika, Adidaivika, and Adhyatmik, three kinds of klesha, sufferings. Adibhautika, you are walking in the street and suddenly one dog from out of view suddenly bites you. Adibhautika, the suffering from other living entities. Adidaivika, scorching heat, earthquake, forest fire. These are all Adidaivika. And Adhyatmik is the pain and suffering from mind. Right. So these kind of problems, where are very rampant, very available, very much obvious, that state is called the material existence. So Lord Krishna is saying that He will deliver you immediately if you do that. But most of the time, whenever I discuss these verses in different parts of the globe in the course of my preaching or teaching, only one question I was asked, that it doesn't happen with us, though we try. I believe that everyone sitting in this room, the sincere devotee, no doubt about your sincere effort, no doubt. Whatever you are, because Krishna looks at you in a very different point of view. Krishna never looks at you where you are lacking. No. Yeah, Krishna definitely takes care of where you are lacking. But Krishna always look at that part where you are trying to give your best to Him. So that's Krishna, and that makes Him Supreme Personality of Godhead and most loving God in the history of the Vedic spiritualism. So then why we don't feel that immediate relief? Why? Srila Jiva Goswami Pad in Bhakti Sandarbha is giving the answer. I'm a little late, it's okay. 5 minutes. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad is giving the answer. He says that, in India, or in our temple maybe, those who make the garland, they know, the way, how the devotees make these garlands. They don't take the flowers one by one. No, they take a big needle and they prick the needle through each flowers, and then maybe after 5, 10 or 12 flowers, they draw them on the thread. So this is a process, the way the devotional service mitigates your pain, your suffering in this world. It takes time. Yoga Goswami Pad says that Shata Patra Ved Nyaya. That means when you make a garland, you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 together, one flower on the needle, and then suddenly you draw them, and then they are on the string, part of the garland. But to accumulate, all the 10 flowers on the needle, it takes some time. So that's the way Krishna allows everyone to suffer some part of their karma, some. But through little suffering of their own personal karma, they are burning karmas of millions of previous births. So that is the significance. So when in this lifetime, when you are humbly with the tolerance, with the lots of faith and prayer, take the suffering as a will of Krishna, and continuing remembering and offering the fruit of your activities to Krishna. That means every suffering you are going through, doesn't matter what it is, Adidaivika, Adibhautika or Adhyatmika, it is burning millions of sufferings of millions of karma. So that's why it takes some time. Not achirat means, oh Krishna, I took initiation, I am chanting 16 rounds every day, I am observing 4 principles. Tomorrow, please come and deliver me from New Jersey. It doesn't happen that way. But Krishna understands, that we often are prone to lose patience. So what does Krishna do? Just like we bought, I don't know how many of you know this new update, that we have 2 cats in our professor. One is Durga and one is Kali. So they're really wild, they're very wild. And Ron, myself, and Anjali, we suffered a lot, the scratched us, bite us. So what, they're very impatient. They wanted the environment should be prepared the way they like, or they would like. So what Anjali did, Anjali bought some kind of cookies, small cookies, and gave those cookies to the cats. And cats, they felt very nice. Oh, but this man gave some cookie, this lady gave me some cookie. This man is nice, this lady is nice. So they become little peaceful, pacified. So Krishna knows that. We most of the time we freak out, and then we say, it is too much, Krishna, it is too much. I'm chanting and worshipping you for such a long time, but nothing is happening. So that's why Krishna gave us the holy name. Holy name is such a mantra, such a sound vibration, such a spiritual compilation of the spiritual words. I have no words to explain the glory because I am not qualified, definitely. I'm not qualified at all. But one thing Krishna gave is that when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with attention, when you listen your chanting, when you are going along with your chanting, you immediately feel the relief from this Adibhautika, Adhyatmika, at least Adibhautika and Adhyatmika. And Adibhautika follows the Adidaivika and Adhyatmika klesha mitigation. So that's why Srila Prabhupada in this purport is emphasizing that devotional service means chanting of the holy name. Now, I will take a few more minutes to share with you that how we can chant the holy name in such a way that we feel that connection. This is, I took it from, I got this from two sources, Srila Prabhupada's lectures and a book from Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada in his Japa MP3 recording, you will see time to time Srila Prabhupada is chastising disciples. Sit properly. Listen carefully. Right? So, what happens when you listen to this sound vibration? Srila Prabhupada is very nice explaining in the second chapter, verse number 12 and verse number 13 onward, that he's referring one text from Mandukya Upanishad. I'm not going to go into details. But the thing is that when you concentrate on any sound vibration, especially the Maha Mantra or Om, but Srila Prabhupada recommends Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Give distance. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So when you do that, the soul which is floating in your heart is the confluence of the 5 kinds of air. So those airs got purified. Tonight you can open verse number 12 or 13, second chapter Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning this. So when you practice that, when you attentively hear your chanting, your mind get completely focused on the chanting and the sound vibration with the rhythmic breathing cleans the 5 kinds of air. And when Mandukya Upanishad says, when 5 kinds of air are purified enough, that's spiritual. That spiritual properties, the spiritual light of the soul, immediately enlighten you. And believe me, you will feel the difference, feel the shift from material to spiritual. Your perspective, your understandings, your understanding, your perceptions will change drastically and dramatically overnight. Just 1 hour, maybe a minute even, attentive chanting. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur is continuing that when you chant, remember your mala, the mala you have, is a very significant part of the process. Mala, he says, this is Siddhidatri. Siddhidatri means it will give you perfection. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is recommending, don't touch your mala with your left hand or shake it or smash it. Just like some devotees, they chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Mala. I got you. I have all my anger here. I'm chanting and smashing you. Sometimes you see that the therapy, in therapy psychologists, they give that if you are angry, break something. Break a glass, break a pot, and that way you release your anger. So be careful. Mala is not, unconsciously or subconsciously, you do that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that don't smash your mala or shake your mala. And then he is saying that this way you offer your prayer before you start Hare Krishna Maha. And after you finish, offer this your chanting to Mahaprabhu. Lord Krishna, we are very special, We are very, 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 very special. I tell you why. Krishna has a very high standard. Super high standard. We are not fit to that standard for sure. So Mahaprabhu made it possible for us. And then Mahaprabhu demanded that you have to chant. We have to take 100,000 names, pure names, every day without fail. Then I will bestow your mercy upon you. once Srila Prabhupada was asked by Kirtananda Swami in 26 Second Avenue, New York. So Srila Prabhupada, is it the truth that we will go back to Krishna, back to Godhead, by the strength of our chanting, by the strength of our piety? Srila Prabhupada said, no, you will not. I made your good fortune. I made your piety. Then he said, when Mahaprabhu started his movement, Mahaprabhu propagated our chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra among his associates, and they had the very high standard. And my Guru Maharaj took that, imbibed that mood, and presented Mahaprabhu's ideology as it is. But when I came to him, he understood that one day I will preach among all of you. And he understood that you will not be able to take that or cherish that high standard he established in Gaudiya Math. And he understood in that way your future will be doomed. So what he did, he gave me the key to the back door of Goloka Vrindavan. That's why I'm telling you, you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively every day, 16 rounds at least, without fail, and observe 4 regulatory principles. At the end of the day, at the end of your life, I will be there. Or you come to the back door of Goloka Vrindavan, and you will find me, and I will let you in. So we are officially backdoor devotees. But that's why we're so special. Did you hear anywhere in the Veda about the backdoor devotees? No, everyone is front devotees. They have straightforward, you can say that, straightforward understanding with Krishna. But with us, because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, because of him, we got wonderful opportunity to enter Goloka Vrindavan, though we are not qualified, through the back door. And then Srila Prabhupada said, you know what? I did 75% for you. I did for all of you for coming 10,000 years. And I asked you to do only 25%. So that's why we are so fortunate and so special we are. In the history of Vedic religion or spirituality, you will never find a guru who did 75% for the disciples, our grand disciples, great grand disciples for 10,000 years, and asking them just to do 25%. So tomorrow, Srila Prabhupada disappeared, or rather it's not disappeared. Srila Prabhupada engaged himself in the eternal service of Krishna through incessant meditation of his pastimes in Sri Vrindavan, and became invisible from our worldly vision. But Srila Prabhupada concealed himself, or Srila Prabhupada transferred himself in his writings. So that's why tonight is very special night, because night before any Acharya's appearance and disappearance, we call Adivas night. Adivas night means you prepare mentally yourself, spiritually, mentally, physically, to dedicate yourself on that day of disappearance. So Srila Prabhupada disappeared from our world division, but Srila Prabhupada left behind the legacy of mercy and blessings through his teachings and through his instructions, and especially the instruction to chant and distribute books. So that's why let's try our best to improve our chanting, quality of chanting. Nowadays, ISKCON is in a fever to increase the quantity of chanting. Right? 64, 108, 300, 400. Though I'm not qualified, but I humbly request all of you, please try to chant these 16 rounds, quality rounds. Trust me, even if you chant one quality round, that will give you immense power to chant 64 quality rounds. But if you just focus on the number, I don't know where it will take. So that's why, remember this verse, let us remember, focus on the verse, that whatever we do with the remembrance of Krishna and offer our every activity, even if you want to take care of Durga and Kali, the cats, but end of the day, don't think that they are your cats. They are Gaurita's cats. So we offer our service, our chanting. We offer our chanting. You are a manager, temple president, guru, GBC, you offer your service to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So that's the way Srila Prabhupada is giving us a wonderful opportunity to make us offer and worship of Krishna. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I took 10 minutes more. More than 7:30. I'm sorry. So no question. Like no question.
Just one question quick.
Okay, one quick question and then we finish. Thank you so much for tolerating me.